Alright, bit overdue, but Lil Uzi Vert's Eternal Atake 2. Been sitting with it for a while now, listened to it probably 4 or 5 times, and we're gonna go through the songs, give them a heat to mute rating, rank them in the album, and then the overall score of it. Let's get into it. Little disclaimer, just before we start this, I think this album is overrated as shit. Yeah. We good, tough. A pretty interesting opener for a Uzi album. It isn't bad, and it does set the tone for the album. The only thing I didn't like is it sounded more like a Pink Tape song than an Eternal Atake song. This one would land itself at 11 for sure.
So much I don't know my lungs go. Stand on my money, I'm tall as my tumbo. Come to my block, you look like gun show.
Lightyear hit. This shit is so tough. Actually fire. This is an insta add to the playlist. Front to back, this got pure energy. Uzi does a great job with multiple different flows. I was genuinely stank facing the entire time of this song. Definitely one of the best songs Uzi has released in a while. Easily my number one as of right now. Media Man, tough. Nah, I genuinely did not like this song originally. Like, it was originally in okay, but I have no idea why. It kind of hit me. This for sure grew on me. But what does he mean by this is an or? Why does he say that? It's prime brain rot. I feel like this song had so much potential, but every choice I didn't want him to make, he did. It kind of lowered it a bit, but I'd probably put it at 12 right now.
I get ha.
Pars and the Mars. Okay, this kind of stunk, not gonna lie. I feel like I only didn't put it in mute just because it's Lil Uzi Vert. I rarely turn my headphones down while listening to a song for these videos. Most of the time, I'd be turning them up, but this just reeked, honestly. This song again had potential, but he just ruined it by repeating himself over and over and over and over. Genuinely kind of an unenjoyable experience to listen to, and that's rare for me because I'm always pretty open to music. For sure gonna go in with the worst slot, number 16.
Lil Uzi.
The Rush. Okay, seeing Big Time Rush low-key got me so hyped. Maybe thinking it's a rap punk song, sort of like what's on Pink Tape, but unfortunately it just wasn't. The exact same problems as the last song. Uzi just finds a hook and then just says it over and over and over until it's almost unbearable. It's not a terrible song, but it's just not something I enjoyed too heavily. Another one I didn't really fuck with. I'd have to put it at the 15.
To my bitches, not an option. Yeah.
Not an option. Heat. Okay, we coming back Uzi. He kind of clutching this up. I like the beat. I like his flow. I like this type of Uzi. This goes really hard. He is so flowing like crazy all throughout this. When the beat cuts out as well is crazy. It still has more of a Pink Tape vibe than Eternal Atake, but it is what it is. It's for sure a hitter though. I'm gonna chuck this one at number 6.
Cause she stank.
She stank. Tough. This song has a weird topic, but otherwise it wasn't all that bad. Uzi's flow was really good. I mean, it was a bit repetitive at some points, but it wasn't really that noticeable. I just think it's pretty tough. I wouldn't play it around the huzz, but I wouldn't skip it if it came on to a shuffle. For sure in the lower half of the album though, so I reckon a 13. Mr. Chow, He. This is a great song. I wouldn't say it's the best on the album, but it is such a heater for real. Uzi flows through this so well. Beat backs him up like crazy, even though he isn't rapping insanely quick or hard. I know a lot of people talk this one up, but it wasn't all that to me, but it was still such a heater. It's definitely got to be my number 8.
Please don't get lift, huh? Please don't get lift. Wow.
Lift 'em up. He. This tough. Another good song that I am vibing with heavy. Uzi is really bringing this album back into that energetic vibe. Everything comes together super well. Uzi flows great over a lot of this, and I was definitely bobbing my head along. I reckon I liked it just a bit more than Mr. Chow though, so 7 for Lift 'em Up.
Brace. I be in a cut like some fucking waves.
Chips and Dip, Heat. Damn, I don't know if it's just me, but the bass was fucking demolishing my shit in this. Like, it was crazy, but that just kind of made it even more tough, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the verses were a bit slow, but it didn't affect me too heavily. Like, if he was rapping, it could have gone so much harder, but that's just a nitpick. Even though this song is a heater, I'm still not a fan of how much repeating is going on in this album. He just needs to repeat himself a little bit less, but for sure, I'd chuck it at the 9. Black Hole, tough. This is really vibey. The vibe of the beat was real good. Definitely fits way more into the Eternal Atake aspect, which is good to see, because I've been kind of missing it throughout this album. I really fuck with Slow Uzi as well, and this song could definitely grow on me even more in the future. Maybe it deserves a heat, but tough is where I'm at right now. Bit worse than Chips and Dips, but better than We Good, so it's definitely 10.
Please don't do the most right now. If I hit you up, please don't go right now.
Chill Bay, hit. This is the chill Uzi I love to see. Straight hit from front to back. This is so catchy, man. First listen had me repeating the chorus like crazy. I nearly already know every single lyric to this. I need to learn the rest because this would for sure be one of my favorite Uzi songs if I did. It's easily top 3 on the album for me, for sure in the number 3 spot.
You know, like, no matter what you do, if you
Goddard song, Tough. Nah, this song is hilarious. Like, what is bro waffling on about? I don't even hate it too. The lyrics are just so crazy. Like, what is he even talking about? It's almost funny. This has got to be one of those Galaxy Gas songs, but I'm not hating on it. It ain't a great song though, lmao, so it's got to go in the 14.
I keep trying to quit, but I keep coming back.
Perky Sex hit. This is another one. The chorus is super catchy. I am in love with this chill type of Uzi music, and the extra beat added into the middle of the song is so tough. I don't know, this album is really clutching itself up. I've been enjoying it heavily, especially on my last couple of listens. I've seen a lot of hate for this, but some of these songs genuinely are some of the best songs Uzi has released in a while, man. This song is definitely top 5 in the album. I'ma chuck it in the 5 spot.
Me when it's all bad.
Conceited, Heat. Another one, another great chill song. This second half has for sure gone for a more chill approach, and I think Uzi is nailing it at this point. I love this slower type of Uzi music, and I think he's really perfected the style. This and Perky Sex are so close to me, so I would put this one at 4, even though this is a heat and Perky Sex is a hit. I think as of right now, I'm preferring this one a bit more, but they could switch around like crazy. This top 5 on this album is genuinely really good.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm Lil Uzi.
Space High hit. Nah, this beat is crazy. I am messing with it. Even though it's kind of slow and chill, Uzi does it so well and just goes crazy. And he builds up his momentum flowing over this beat. I love when he screams Percocet over and over and over. It genuinely gets me so hyped when I'm listening to this. Had me stank facing for a lot of it as well. Genuinely might be my favorite song on this album, but I think Lightyear just beats it out. I'm for sure putting it at the 2. Uzi got into his bag for this one. There we go. Here's the 1 to 16 of all the songs in the album. Then let's move on to the final thoughts and the overall ranking of this album. Man, I think this album is super overhated. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even an Uzi glazer. I really haven't listened to Uzi heavily all year. Like, genuinely, I don't think he'd even be in my top 15 artists I've listened to this year. I've heard people say that this was a throwaway album, like what Frank Ocean did, but I'm just gonna ignore that. I don't really care. On my first listen, I really did not like this album all that much, apart from maybe the top 3 songs. But as time progressed, it genuinely really grew on me. Not like some Whole Lotta Red type shit, but I definitely didn't think it was as bad as when I first listened to it. Certain parts of songs got stuck in my head and had me repeating them over the weeks. A lot of these songs are super catchy and are just a vibe to listen to, honestly. Now, in album terms, I don't think this is good, but the songs individually are really great. And I think if Uzi just cut out some of the filler, made it a bit shorter, it could have been a really strong project. I'm not heavily into Uzi's leaks and snippets. I am into Cardi's leaks, so I kind of understand this, but I see a lot of people complaining about how he could drop an album of just heater leaks, but I genuinely think if a lot of these were snippets, they would be considered grails. Just look at the reception of All Red by Playboi Carti. Such a wanted snippet by the Carti community, but once it actually came out, it got hated on. Sure, it was streamed like crazy in its first day, but the amount of people I saw saying it was just Future was wild. If that had stayed as a leak, it would have been loved forever and always wanted. There are some amazing highs all over this album. Sure, genuinely there are some of Uzi's lowest moments, but this is by no means a bad album to me. The lack of features also did not help this. Uzi's one of those artists who works just so well with so many others, so I just wish we saw more of that. There's only one genuine thing I do not like about this album, and it's its step away from the Eternal Atake space theme. The original Eternal Atake had such personality, whereas this one really misses with that. Some of the beats find the original spacey theme, but a lot of them do sort of sound like Pink Tape leftovers. Aside from that, this album is growing on me quite heavily, and at least 8 of these songs would get added into my main rotation. So to answer the question, is Eternal Atake 2 actually good? Yeah, it is. Well, at least to me. There we go. That's my thoughts on Lil Uzi Vert's Eternal Atake 2. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. But remember the most important part, homeboys, stay swag.